What up, world? It's your boy Jaystar back again with another video. We got the full strategy for the showdown on Thursday night for $1,000,000, y'all. So, man, we're gonna get right into this so y'all can help y'all out with building these lineups, man, for this showdown. You know how we do this. We go over defensive, schemes and stuff like that, and then go over basically the offensive strategy against the defensive scheme that should work best. So that way you can get the most fantasy points and all the way down to like kind of figuring out who could be a flex and who can be a sleeper type play too as well. So we're gonna get right into it this time with Denver here. So we got Denver Broncos. They play a 3-4 defense. The Colts play a 4-3 defense. We do have some injuries in this game. Of course, the biggest injury is at the top here with Jonathan Taylor being out. And then I want to say the right guard, I believe, is out on, let me see, which team is that? Oh, okay, so it's Russell. Russell's right guard is out. And then and his other, what do I want to say, tackle is almost as questionable too. So could be a little banged up on the line over there. And then on the opposite side, on the Colts side, we got Shaquille Leonard is out. His middle linebacker is out. And then we have Julian Blackman is out too at full safety. So I'm just trying to think, like, being that the linebacker was out, I believe he got out last game against Henry, and we saw the way Henry was able to run right through the middle of their defense and stuff. And this is like, Shaquille Leonard is like one of the captains on their defenses. So it's telling where, each linebacker out there is supposed to be on the field. So it makes a big difference when he's not there and you got to replace him, because I don't even see anybody as his backup at middle linebacker on their depth chart. So who knows who they're going to have out there, and that's going to be a big deal when it comes to Denver when they try to run on them, So and then also I'm looking at the fact that if Julian Blackman being out too at safety, that's going to open up the middle of the field for like a deeper, catches and stuff like that down the middle. The only thing I will say, going over these offensive schemes, if I go over Denver's offensive scheme real quick to help us out, we know he's gonna throw the ball to Judy and Sutton here the most. So definitely these two, already captain plays to me, right? Especially since they getting all the deep shots and things. The only thing that sucks here is that I always have to say, like, also, when we go through these, I go through the amount of points that they're giving up now, so that can help y'all out too per position. What I want to say is the Colts is giving up near 18 points fantasy to tight ends, y'all. So it's like, it sucks because I want to say, like, Russell, I'm gonna toss him in there at captain too for this side. It sucks because Russell brought over the Seattle offense to Denver. And I mean, I know most of y'all probably don't understand what I mean when I say that. So I'm gonna just say, like, you look at how Will Dissly and Noah Fant, all of them are, just involved in the offensive scheme now. Will Dissly was never involved when Russell was there. It was like he has something, I don't know what it is, but he doesn't like throwing to tight ends or something. So it's weird. And I mean, you can see it because if it's the same offensive scheme he's brought over to Denver so he could be comfortable joining a new team, and you still you go over here and you look at these targets. Let me see where we at. They way down here because they don't even get targeted. Let me see. I went too far down though. Let's see where we at. I think it's 3,800. Or is it even less than that? Golly, where is tight ends at? Okay, I'm finding every other tight end. Okay, so we got Saubert here, one here. Then we got Albert O here, right? Like, you go to Albert O. I think first game was his best game. Target him 6 times. Ever since then, though, 2-2-0. It's crazy. We got this next game here, Saubert. 1-2-1-2. Like, as you see, he's not targeting these tight ends like at all. I think this one catch though that Saubert had last game almost could have been a touchdown. Like, I think he got stopped like right on the goal line or something. So you could say he could have been in play for a touchdown, and we might have been talking about, we should have had Saubert or something like that in this game. The only thing is, like I said, they're giving up so many points at tight end. It sucks sometimes when, like, you see those type of stats and the type of team that they're playing is not a team that throws to that position basically, or goes enough to the running back enough for them to get those type of points. And so that's all I'm trying to say, because if it was any other team basically that had a really good tight end, you knew they was throwing in the ball, they would be in play to be a captain in this, like, basically because of the fact they're giving up 18 points. That's near 20-something fantasy points, and that's possible captain play. Also big possible flex play too. But I almost want to say it's like they could be faded just because of the fact Russell doesn't throw to them, like, period. So You definitely can take a shot at him just because like I said, it is a lot of fantasy points they give up, and maybe even in two targets or whatever, the Albert O in this game or something, maybe it goes for a touchdown, instead of just 12 yards or something like that, or the 25 yards we saw for Saubert last game and things like that. So maybe he catches both of them and one ends up being a touchdown, and you got 10 points fantasy there, and it could be needed, So I just want to mention that because it sucks, like I say, like since he doesn't usually go to tight ends enough, you're missing out on a lot of points there that could be, in play, was in play basically, especially when you think like the Colts is that bad against tight ends, and the fact they're not going to have their safety. Like the tight ends are the people that go down the middle of the field the most, you know what I mean? So like, and then if you thinking like a receiver like Sutton or somebody goes, takes the top off the defense, and even if there was double covering him, that safety now, like where Blackman would play, but now he's not going to be in the game, they would double with that safety, and then the tight end will probably get open underneath, And it's just like, is Russell going to throw the ball to him, or is he going to still take the shot down the field to Sutton, or is he going to look still for Judy? Because that's where all his targets is mostly going to. Besides that, though, in against a 4-3 defense, you need to be trying to set up the run. So I believe they will be trying to set up the run. It's good to see that, Melvin Gordon is, still going to be able to play this game and everything. So definitely I have to throw him in as a captain play, because something about Melvin Gordon in showdowns, man, I just noticed never to not have him in your captain spot. Like, I've learned this over the years, man. Like, I don't care which, team he's played for. Is somehow, some way, like he'll break a big run late in a game when he's already about like 12 to 14 fantasy or something like that. He breaks these big runs and they go for touchdowns always. I think the game even that he had against San Francisco this year was a Sunday night or something like that game, and this was a showdown, and he ends up sneaking in at the end on a goal line run touchdown. Like, he got to the captain spot with just 16 points because the game, you see, the score was so bad. So like I say, I'm just gonna tell you, it's a rule for me at least. Y'all don't gotta do it, but I never am not going to put Melvin Gordon at least at a captain spot at least once or twice or something, just because of that. And definitely even just having him in the lineup, because like I say, he scores these crazy little touchdowns at the end of the games. Like, I don't know what it is about defenses letting him break free at the end of the game, but it's like maybe they just get worn down or something, or they just, don't think he's going to be able to break like that. He still has the juice to do it though. So definitely have to say, like, at a home game, I don't know if Denver is favored to win this game, but they should be, since there's no Jonathan Taylor for sure. So if they are, you always usually have the home back can do well and can move into captain spot. And they, like I said, they should be trying to attack the run game to set up the bigger plays for Jerry Jeudy and Sutton in this game to get down the field deep against one of those safeties that's, replaced for Blackman and things like that. So I definitely know Russell's going to want to take shots, for these two. So he's going to want to set up the run, to set up the play action and things like that, which if they get down there and they get caught short on the 2 or 5 yard line, you got Melvin Gordon probably rushing the ball in. Also, though, we're going to go through the flex options here from after these 3 right here, or 4 that I was saying that could be captain. Flex options here, we already know these 3, but I'm going to take out Gordon because I like to put in all the just receiving options. So we got to watch out, though, I will say also for Latavius Murray here joining the team. We saw, he got picked up, for the New Orleans Saints, and was able to come right in the game and, score a touchdown on a goal line rush attempt and get you all the way to 13.5 fantasy. So being that this team is banged up against, for the running backs, they might want to, run a little bit with Latavius Murray, and who knows, he could steal a goal line rush attempt from Melvin Gordon here. We do know they have Mike Boone too, but I'm just trying to figure out, because like, are they really gonna roll with Mike Boone? Because like, production was okay. It wasn't, we haven't seen much from him. And in the past, didn't do much there either. I feel like in the past is better for Melvin Gordon to just be their pass catching back, and maybe use Latavius Murray a little bit more in the actual run. So gotta watch out for that. I feel like he is in play as a flex play because of that. And he's almost like a high price sleeper, because I don't really feel like a lot of people will take Latavius Murray. So high price sleeper there. And then I want to say definitely the kicker is still in play at flex because of the fact that Russell, had a good game finally. I felt like this was going to be the game against the Raiders, in the red zone. So was able to think he's rushed in a touchdown, and I think he threw 2. So that's 3 scores for him. That's the best he's done. So, less kicking in that game at least, But as you saw in the first 2 games, a lot of kicking got to double-digit scoring right there. And being at home, sometimes, against, what I want to say is, what is it? Arrowhead Field. Those lone kicks can happen a lot there. And like 50 yarders, 40 yarders, if they getting stopped again, and going 3 and out, or or just getting about, going 6 and out or something and getting stopped at the 50-yard distance, they're going to kick the ball. And 2 kicks, bang, he's already going to have 10 points. So definitely got to say, McManus is in play at flex there. I want to say, let me see. I don't know too much about if the defense is going to be in play in this game. Maybe if the Colts are having a hard time since Jonathan Taylor is out. Maybe if they're having a hard time, they're forcing themselves to just pass the ball only, then there's going to be opportunities definitely for the Broncos defense to show up and do something, catch an interception, or because just any quarterback that has to drop back so many times, man, it just gives you more opportunities for interceptions, sacks, all that type of stuff like that. And you can get fumbles, fumble recovery touchdowns, and pick sixes and all that. So depending on if Matt Ryan's gonna have to drop back a lot in this game and not be able to go to the run, then I would say the Denver defense is in play. Like I said, Alberto, they're in play. Like I said, Alberto and also Sauber, they're both in play. It's like, because it's 20 almost fantasy points given up to tight ends, man. Like, this is a team, like the Colts is a team I pick on every weekend, for tight ends, because I know they give up tight end play. So it just sucks. Like, just the thing, I want to say the last 2 weeks, because just last week they played the Titans, and there wasn't a tight end that caught a touchdown or had mad fantasy points there, because they don't really go to their tight ends over there either. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard when it's like, the points is available for these people, and it's like it could happen, but it's just that offensive scheme doesn't go to their tight ends. But we got Kendall Hinton here. Definitely reverted to practice squad. I believe he's going to be elevated again at least. So definitely I would have to say he's in play. Believe he caught a deep bomb play. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that one deep bomb, I thought 35-yard long. So coming in for deep plays like that, man, if he would have got a touchdown on that, we're talking about 12 fantasy points right there off of just one catch. So definitely he's in play. I don't think, is there anybody else? Because I know this is a special teamers right here play. Does the kicks, returns, and things like that. I don't really know how much he'll be involved in the pass. Man, I don't think there's anybody else down here. I was thinking Greg Dolce was going to be activated, but he's not. This would have been probably the biggest play because of being that this was the tight end they replaced Noah Fant with. And he's a really high rated tight end. Like, believe he received like a B or something like that in letter grade. So I was hopeful that he was gonna play, because I really felt like they was gonna use him. They really liked the way his performance at camp was and things like that. So when he does return, maybe we'll start seeing if it's true that Russell, if it's not true that basically that the Seattle's offense that Russell brings over and he just don't like throwing the tight ends or not. We'll see maybe once he becomes active and everything. But besides that, I don't think there's anybody else down here that I would play. Yeah, for Denver, basically, I'm thinking like it's nobody, because Andrew Beck, another tight end that came in like one game basically so far that we've seen him actually get targets. Man, like I said, it sucks that the tight end is not really a position that Russell throws the ball to, basically, because it should be big in play for fantasy points. But so besides that, then I guess we're done with the Denver side, really, because we got KJ Hamler. My bad. Should definitely mention him, because 55-yard. Oh, my bad. So it was KJ Hamler. I thought it was Kendall Henry. It was him that almost had the touchdown. Okay, so definitely Hamler. I know he only came in for one play, but still, like, that one big play could have been everything. Like, if it was a showdown basically version, like, and he scores a touchdown, that's 12 fantasy. So definitely he's in play too, then I would say, because like I said, since the safety is going to be a backup safety back there, anybody that's going deep down the field then for Russell is going to be in play, for a deep catch. And the thing is, though, you want to separate the two when it comes to who can possibly be catching those type of deep plays multiple times compared to just one time, because the multiple times mean they're probably going to be captain. So Judy and Sutton, big in play when it comes to that, because they're more likely going to catch it multiple times. If they come short of the goal line, then that's going to put, Melvin Gordon to Latavius Murray, any one of them to get in a goal line rush attempt, and getting a touchdown. They can do that probably two times or three times in the game, getting down the field on some deep plays like that. So that gets them to the goal line and, right there on the line for about three times that Melvin Gordon could score a touchdown, basically. If these receivers get stopped on, the 5 to 2 something yard line or something like that. But also, like I said, putting Kendall Hinton and also Hamler for those one shots. Maybe they hit on one of those one deep shots like that in this game, and it goes for a touchdown instead of being caught on the 5 or something like that yard line. So definitely, I gotta say they're all in play there for just flex, spots for them. But then we go to the other side of the field. This is crazy because I feel like Colts is gonna be in trouble. I think this is the first game Jonathan Taylor has been out, right? Because I know they played, it's the first game he's been out. Because I know this game too right here was Pittman that was out. And just trying to think how much, they struggled so much having Pittman out. And it's like both of these two are the main focal point of their offensive scheme. So it's like without having Jonathan Taylor to run the ball 20 times, like we already saw Denver, was kind of exposed a little bit against Jacobs, even though I felt like, what I want to say, Raiders play a wide receiver 3 set, and then the Colts run a 2 wide receiver set because they're always running. They always have blocking tight ends and things like that on the field to make sure that their run game gets off the, and it works every time basically. Compared to the Raiders, I think it threw off Denver because of the fact, they have a 3 wide receiver set. It's always 3 wide receivers on the field, and it makes it a little bit easier if you're establishing the pass at all against, Denver. Then they're gonna back off since they're playing 3-4. Then them linebackers that are behind the defensive ends and stuff like that, they're backing off into the what I want to say, like in zoning out. You know what I'm saying, at the 10-yard line and stuff like that. So you preventing you from getting the first down. Which also then if you end up running the ball, instead, you're probably gonna gain at least 5 yards or so per carry. Then so if somehow the Colts go into this game and they can establish the pass, at least like throwing to Pittman. So definitely he would be in play if they can establish the pass, because we saw that Devontae put up 20 points, at least like 22 points fantasy. So definitely Pittman's going to get, I think he should get mad targets in this game, being that there is no Jonathan Taylor. So they probably are going to pass a little bit more. And most teams, it seems like, too, on the road pass more anyways. So I definitely feel like Pittman should be back in play for about 9 to 13 targets. It would just depend on how many times they can get to the goal line with those targets, because we know I believe he threw him the ball for a touchdown in this game. And I think he stepped out of bounds on the catch or something like that. So always in play for the red zone, targets and stuff like that. So if he can get to 100 or something yards or 80 yards and a touchdown with 8 catches, then he's possibly at 20 something fantasy points and could be at play at captain. Matt Ryan has actually been performing pretty well. I'm actually shocked to see multiple games of 20 fantasy points. And in this game, knowing that he's not going to have his running back, I have to say, I wouldn't say maybe not in play to be captain, but definitely in play to be in the lineup just because of that. Because I feel like he is going to have to throw a lot more in this game than what he's normally done. Let's see, 37 attempts, 50 attempts this game here, near 40 attempts every game. So the only thing is Denver is not giving up a lot of points to quarterbacks. So I will have to say that just to let you know. They're only giving up about 12 points to quarterbacks. So fantasy points at that. So it's going to be like Matt Ryan's going to have to be airing it out like crazy basically then, I feel like. But I feel like they're still going to want to do what they normally do and establish some type of run game. So I actually like Hines right here, just because I know they like to run the ball so much, and they do a 2 wide receiver set, which means it can only kind of be, it only sets it up for like Michael Pittman and one other receiver. The worst part about this team to me is that they don't have an established number 2 receiver yet. They drafted Alec Pierce in the 2nd round, and I like the way he performed in the game right here at the end with the 80 yards, 6 targets, a 44-yard deep catch he caught at almost near the end of the game. No red zone work or anything like that I've seen for him, but it was good. It seemed like he wasn't in the game a lot until the end. I guess because they was down, so they start passing more, of course, like I say, because the coasters want to run most of the time. So if they can stay in the game with the run, they're gonna stay in a 2 wide receiver set. At the end, I started seeing them spread it out to a 3 wide receiver set, and that's when Alec Pierce got involved. So if you think they're going to be down in this game and going to have to pass a lot, you know what I'm saying, then Alec Pierce is definitely in play. I don't know for sure at captain because his targets I would think need to go up a little bit more. But then we need to know like he's going to be on the field most of the time because they're interchangeable with these receivers. Like I say, let me put them all in here. So we got Alec Pierce. Let me take out Hines. I'm gonna just put all the receivers that I've seen playing in that last game and on the like snap count and stuff like that. I've seen Doolin got in a little bit, but wasn't as in play as like Parrish Campbell was. He actually got in a little bit more, and then I would say it was Alec Pierce, and then it was like Doolin, and was it anybody else here? Let me see. Wide receivers. I don't see nobody else. I think because Kiki Kuti doesn't play, right? Yeah, he ain't played since week 2. And then we know Strawn and all them played when Michael Pittman was out. But he did get in the last game. So yeah, like I said, the number 2 receiver is so interchangeable here. You don't really know who they plan on going with. But these 4 right here would be the main ones that probably get in play if, like I say, they get down, they do end up passing the ball. But the best 2 to me, or best 3, I say, I would kind of take out Doolin. I think they should be rolling with Alec Pierce. I feel like he's a really good talented receiver. So I would say he's really good in play, for a flex. But Pittman and then Hines to me is the best captains on this side of the field. Like I said, you could maybe throw in Matt Ryan if, like I say, like if you think he's going to be out there spreading the ball and throwing, crazy in this game, then I would say he could be in play. But it's just the fact that Denver doesn't really give that up. The quarterback, really up. So yeah, I would rather just go with like Pittman and just Hines. But as for other options here, since like I said, they wasn't really using a lot of those receivers like on what I saw in the last game and then just the last 2 games that I reviewed on the Colts. They're using their tight ends like crazy. Their tight ends are the scoring options, like really big scoring options. And Denver does give up tight ends to about, let's say 13 points fantasy to tight ends here. So I have to say all these tight ends that I've seen in the game, the lowest one that I saw had the lowest snap count was Jelani Woods. But was it Granson and Ali Cox? They've been in the games most of the times. Like most of the snap counts is about near, over probably 50% for Ali Cox, probably almost near 50% or more, like barely probably over for Granson. But Jelani Woods probably like 20 something percent or something, I would say. Granson is in most of the time to block though, but he does run routes too as well. But he does block, the best out of all these 3 tight ends, basically, I would say. Mo Ali Cox is running routes mostly, all the time, unless they running, of course, then he's in 2 to block because they're, like I said, they're 2 wide receiver set. So the 2 main tight ends that's in on every down basically is these 2. So I would say they're probably in way more than 50% of the time, really. Matter of fact, because it's probably more like 60 to 70 or something like that, because this team usually is running most of the time, right? So these 2 was in the game most of the time, and they played the same type of style of defense last game. And as you saw, Mo Ali Cox had a good game, had one of his best games, 26 fantasy points. I could say he is in played in, but it's just the fact that we know Mo Ali Cox doesn't usually get crazy targets, and then the fact that, he broke a tackle for a touchdown here on one of these plays, and I kind of forgot which the other touchdown was like in this game, but 2 touchdowns, I mean, it's in play for this game, so I would say he could be possibly to toss in that captain over probably picking Matt Ryan. But also, if he was to take Matt Ryan, then I would definitely say pick these tight ends too, because these 2 definitely are in play. Like they're going to probably be in the game the whole time. They're probably going to attack with the tight end since, like I say, they don't have a real number 2 receiver here. So I really like picking the tight ends, maybe to go with Michael Pittman or maybe not if you just want to toss in Nyheim Hines or something like that. Just as a run back options of those, you just like, filling in maybe one of these tight ends with Nyheim Hines or, tossing them in with Pittman or something like that as a run back option in this game. and maybe not even Matt Ryan, since he's not really supposed to pick up, more than 12 fantasy points. Could be needed, could not be, though, for Matt Ryan. It just really depends on, can he throw multiple touchdowns, probably, because then he probably gets over 12 fantasy points. But yeah, so like I said, it's just because this team runs a 2 wide receiver set, and there's no established number 2 wide receiver, so it's going to be hit and miss basically if you take any of those receivers. So from Alec Pierce to Doolin to Parrish Campbell, you're hit and missing on any one, or you don't know which one it could be really. So I would say you're better off taking one of these tight ends, since, like I said, they played this style of defense already. They used all 3 of these tight ends. And Jelani Woods almost went for another touchdown again. Like how he went for 2 touchdowns the last game. This one catch right here, he only had 1 catch, but he went deep and got caught on the 5-yard line for 33 yards. It could have been probably almost near 40 yards if he would have just got into the goal. But so definitely I would have to say big in play tight ends on this game, because they should be passing the ball a lot, is how I feel, without having their best running back in the game, one of the best running backs in the game. I feel like they might have a hard time establishing the run, so they're probably going to be passing more. And on the other end, they'll probably try to run and set up big plays down the field, is what I want to say. So like I say, the running back on the other side with still, of course, I would say, even though in that situation with them trying to run more in this side of the field, I still like Russell Wilson, just because of the fact we know he rushed in a touchdown the last game. He always has that scare ability to rush in a touchdown on you. So, and this defense is a pretty good defense. So I do expect him to have, somewhat of a hard time sometimes throwing. So he's probably going to rush for another 30 to maybe 40 yards. Who knows? And it could be, one could go for a touchdown. I still feel like he is going to be able to throw at least 1 touchdown. He could go back to struggling though again. I'm hoping that he throws at least 2 touchdowns, but like I say, if he doesn't throw to the tight end, and that's where the person is wide open and he's just looking them off and stuff, then he probably is going to have a harder day at throwing 2 touchdowns. But so I think that's about it, man, for the whole full strategy there. If I had to just say though, like how I think this game would go, like I said, Melvin Gordon, it's always in play, man. If I'm thinking how this game is going to go, though, real quick, just to end this video off, I feel like Russell should have a good day throwing, just because the middle of the field should be open. If they're sending any of Sutton to Judy down the middle of the field, I would think it's Judy is there. I feel like Russell could possibly throw 2 touchdowns to Judy in this game, so I definitely think he's a good captain. I think Russell will be involved and played in if he's thrown 2 touchdowns with him. Let me see. I'm trying to just figure out everything here. The only thing I do feel like, the kicker, like I said, is still in play in this type of lineup, just because if Judy just has the most fantasy points off of 1 touchdown, thrown, and then other catches he catches and he gets to a 100-yard bonus, something like that. And they struggle just to score, touchdowns afterwards or something like that, I could see the kicker being in play after that and getting into about 10 to 12 fantasy points. As my run back, I definitely like Ali Cox. Like I told y'all before about him, and I like Nyheim Hines because of the fact that I know the team wants to run, but also he hasn't even been involved as much as I thought he was going to be, so I could expect to see maybe he gets like 50 yards rushing, in this game. I know they have other running backs though, that I probably did not mention. Let me see. They also have, let me get to, I know all the way down here should be getting activated. Where is he at? Going against his old team too. My bad. I forgot about him. Where is he at? Oh, Philip Lindsay. So sleeper play for Philip Lindsay, getting activated against his old team, man, in the rush, and could take up more of the actual rushing attempts, going against his old team at their home and everything, where he was drafted at, or got picked up from undrafted players. So yeah, could do something big against them in the run game. Like I said, we saw what Jacobs was able to do to Denver. So definitely Philip Lindsay is in play there for 400. But also we know their other running back is Deion Jackson here. Could be in play too. I know he hasn't done nothing really yet, but could be in play. But I really like Nyheim Hines just because of the fact that for the pass catching ability here, like if I had to think of, I know those running backs are in play for that part, but Nyheim Hines is going to probably have way more targets, I feel like, in this game. I just really feel it. Like, I feel like he's going to come out of the backfield after rushing a couple of times. You know, he might get a goal line rush attempt and rush it in. So could see about 50 to 40 yards there in a touchdown, you know, and that's going to put you at about 11 points there. And just thinking if he's going to get 6 targets still, if he can go for 50 yards again, then you're talking about another 11 points. Like, that's like 20-something fantasy points. So, like, I definitely think he's in play here. I know this is what's so crazy about this this slate here. I think because we don't have Jonathan Taylor, it leaves so much money. Like, man, like when you get to the end here, like you could take almost anybody, I feel like, besides of course Jonathan Taylor at the for the last pick here. But definitely something like this I could see happening in this game, man. Like I told y'all, when you do these showdowns, put together a story. You know, like how I said, Russell probably throws 1 touchdown. It might just be enough. With Jerry Jeudy getting over 100 yards, and that just might be enough points because it's not really a lot of other big names here to take, you know, other than Michael Pittman, Sutton, and stuff like that could get you there to 20 fantasy points. But all the other people here besides Russell and Matt Ryan after them are not proven targets to get you 20 fantasy points. So definitely it looks like because of the fact we don't have Jonathan Taylor here, it's probably going to be that you're going to leave some money on the table here, you know, because like even with picking Pittman here, leaves me with $1,700. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's a lot of money, but it's probably what's going to be needed to win the $1 million, to be real with y'all. But it's your boy, Jaystar. Hope y'all enjoyed that full strategy video, man, for y'all. And I'm out, man. Love y'all. Peace.